And we're just trying to, I guess my question is why is there a reporter here?
Because we just, everything, because we got some issues that we want to be discussed.
Well, that's fine, but a
The
reporter
reporter's here
doesn't-
on behalf of the association too.
Oh, excuse me, I'm here to you?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Oh, okay, and you
Okay,
are?
we're here to support quality care.
Sure, that's
Okay,
fine.
so he's here on behalf of what we're
Did you get
trying to
a
do.
sign-in sheet so we know that
We just want to make sure everything is being treated fair and everything.
Sure, that's fine. I just didn't know, I thought you were,
Yeah.
I didn't know who you were, that's all, we're just.
All right, so let's continue through the list. What are some other things we want to cover today? Sorry, I missed the last one. The question was, when's the
So, I
last
just wanna-
payment we made, I think was your
Right.
question, right?
So, yeah, when's the last payment Welty received? And Welty is saying in June.
Yeah, well, what I do know is I don't have anything open or outstanding with me owed to Welty.
You paid them.
Yes, I mean, I'm current with whatever they've given me that's been reviewed and
That's,
approved.
that means you've paid them up till July.
Yeah, I don't, well, that, Todd can bring the payout, but
Come on.
yeah, the process from, sub through Welty through IT reviews to me is a whole chain.
And so you understand, the payment terms, all right, on our contract or our proposed contract with IRG is it's 45 days after approval.
But it was never signed.
Oh, yeah, the
So we
contract,
don't-
yeah.
So that's
But I'm just telling you, that's the term.
neither
So-
here nor there.
Dave, your contract with RG's never been signed.
That's the way I understand it, yeah.
No, Welty's with RG.
Okay, so I added that to the list. What else do we want to cover here today?
Can you tell us how much you've been paid by RG for the car park?
Off the top, I didn't come prepared for that. I mean, I was going to talk. I mean, you can get the answers to it. Yeah, I can get that for you.
Yeah,
but I have-
some things we'll have to follow with you after this.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And is there any underlying issues or what's because of the finances? Because it's just been slow payment to quality care.
I mean, there are no issues from our standpoint, from the village and finance.
It's like we gotta keep calling, you
Yeah.
know.
But Ryan, we understand, we thank you for intervening also.
Yeah.
So with these questions is really directed to Welty, and I know Dave is not just Welty. So these are the questions that we want to get
agreed.
the answers back from, you know what I mean, so we can, because we're trying to do all we can with this ourselves, but we're a small company, and we're at the verge of going belly up. I told them that 3 weeks ago to me, and they thought it was like a laughable joke. And my company, I've been in business 20 years this year, and I'm this close
Okay.
to
We need to
financial ruins.
start resolving things that are being
Financial
held up.
ruins, and if I would never took this job, or if it would have been done in the months they said it would have been done, I would not be financing this job even as right now. I'm financing it. They held my retainage over $100,000. My retainage for work that's done. Retainage is 10% of the job. The job is done.
And why haven't we
I
been
mean,
paid
do-
at least
do we
5% of that?
Do we have
Or half
a
of that?
retained?
Our agreement is we hold 10% retainage until we receive it from IRG, that's when you get our retainage.
Yeah, but the job was supposed to be done December 15th. That
I
had to do with
understand.
us.
But Neil, once, the way the contract reads is when we receive the payment for the retainage, then we get it to you.
I mean, do we-
We haven't received payment for them.
Do we have
Okay.
an open retainage?
But you don't have a contract with IRG. I mean, so
Todd, do you know-
we need
do you know
our,
if
we
you
need
paid
our
Welty the
money.
retainage?
I understand what you're saying, I can't answer that question. I mean, that's above me.
You never requested
They've
retainage?
never requested retainage.
You don't request it until we're done, typically.
I mean, is it a practice at all to give like a 5% retainage?
Yes, yeah.
Or progress retainage throughout, or is it a?
What was your CEO's name? I'm mistaken, Dave, that was
So
here.
my CEO,
The guy that was here,
Burns, Chris Burns.
Chris Burns.
Yeah, he was the VP,
So
right.
for him to say this, that he's never heard from y'all about taking that retainage down to 5%, you and Chris Burns sat in that meeting and said you were gonna leave out that meeting and call and talk to somebody about getting that done. So that's, once again, Welty didn't follow up with what they said in that last meeting. Did you or did you not say that?
I believe Chris had said that.
So
Okay, but
Chris can say,
Chris followed
Chris is
up?
bigger than you. So if Chris said it, then come on, man. This man said he ain't heard nothing.
Then what was?
So that's on y'all.
What's Chris's last?
Y'all said y'all was gonna try to work on getting that down to 5%. Y'all said y'all was gonna work on getting us that check. Y'all ain't worked on getting us nothing. But another meeting, man. Come on, man.
Like I said, I haven't heard from Chris on it, but I'll follow up.
I heard he hasn't either, and that's not good. It's 3 weeks later, and nobody's talked to nobody about it. But y'all talked to us and told us y'all was
They're
gonna
not in the
try to get it
process.
done.
They're in the process. That's what I'm saying. They're in the process of trying to seek me for the blame. This all this bigger picture that really has nothing to do with me. But I'm the scapegoat.
'Cause we're the
and I'm
company.
feeling that bad. That's why we want to bring more in this out, because we want to know why is this happening. When
Okay.
Welty told me we're going to work with you, you're a minority business. We want to help you. We want you to succeed. And all they've done is set us up for failure, even though we haven't failed. And Brian, this is what I would say. And they're saying that, and I'm saying that because all our subs and everything, we have outstanding bills now, but all our subs has been paid. There's not one sub ever called up here and said we put a lien that the other companies, Cormain put a lien on your guys before. Lindsay put a lien on you guys before. They never called y'all about us. Not one time.
That's correct.
And that just shows our diligence about what we was trying to be involved also. Not trying to outdo nobody, not trying to shine. We were thankful to be part of this. And now we looking like, why? I'm sitting over here nervous as can be. I might have to go out there and find me an everyday job. And they're hard to find at a guy at my age. Because I'm going through this. And I shouldn't have to.
It just seems like Welty doesn't follow up on. We have these meetings, Brian, and they just go up and smoke as soon as we walk out the door.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Well, I'm glad we're here talking to this.
Every single time.
So what's the next
So I'm not aware of some of these. So yeah, so let's continue to go through. Let's tackle what we can today.
The email with Welty and Dave Pyatt that was sent yesterday stating the week's quality care worked in May and June didn't put you guys ahead of schedule.
Yeah, you requested the daily reports, and I'm in the process again. I'll get those to you.
So I just want to know, the question with that then, how can we be down there working 2 or 3 weeks, putting a $100,000 biofilter in, and that we weren't supposed to even do yet, but we did it anyway? Why can't we not have put you ahead, not of your schedule, but ahead of where we would have started from your schedule? What you did is took this, what we did, and put you to here, and then you said, oh, that's our schedule from here. You didn't take it where it was initially from, where we shouldn't have been working down there.
First of all, the schedule is the overall schedule. It's not a particular item. Sure, you might have been ahead on the bioswale, but what about all the concrete that was
Well,
yet
no,
to be done?
we
That
was
one-
behind because
But
because
Neil,
of finances.
it's not a
Because of
particular,
finances.
it's not a particular item, Neil. It's the overall
Right,
schedule.
and then
And the
what-
overall schedule, you were
The
going
overall schedule was December 15th, and that was out the water.
I'm just saying that when we, as far as the bioswale being ahead, that's fine. But what about all the concrete work? And if the concrete work been behind, we wouldn't have been in the trouble with, the last minute pushing the.
Right, but if you did what we were supposed to do with the finances back in November and December, we would never have been in there and did it. We'd have been gone.
I can't
See,
address
that's
that.
what I'm saying. So you're saying that.
You want us to work and not get paid.
Yeah,
Yes.
You want us to, like we're doing, finance this project.
that's it. Continues.
But if we don't go down there, then they want to talk about putting money in escrow, they want to talk about a 72-hour notice, kick us off. We the only ones down there working. How you going to tell me 72 hours?
Look around.
Come over here.
I'm looking
This
around.
is just the
No, I'm
truth.
talking about the whole place.
Just
That's you guys. So guess who was blamed? I'm just saying, we getting blamed. Quality Care Insurance is getting blamed for it all. It all, and it has to stop somewhere. So hopefully today it stops.
All right, let's continue down.
Our check that was supposed to be given to us last week.
Oh, what?
A check that was supposed to be given to us
Promised.
last week.
That was what, Neil asked me about this. I asked Frank, I followed up with you yesterday. I don't know where,
Chris Burns promised that one too.
I know that, I'm just telling you that
That was 3 weeks
Neil
ago.
called me yesterday. I said, Neil, I'll find out. I asked Frank, I said, Frank, where's his check? He didn't know. Now Neil says he's had let me finish. I let you talk. I checked with Frank. Frank says he doesn't know. I said, well, Neil says you do. You better give me an answer. I have not heard back from Frank yet. All right, so that's all I can tell you about that. That's all I know.
We'll reach out to Frank.
Find out
Frank is
status
the
of July.
who committed the check,
How
Frank?
much payment they
Frank and Chris Burns, they committed to the checks. And then this is what.
And what was the check for? It was for work at the stadium
for
part?
his-
What month was that for? You saying that was for July?
So July order.
Okay, that's how much you paid, that's fine.
And then this is what the scariest part is about that. They're not saying it because it is still a lot of money. It's $24,000, but yet they want me to go spend another couple hundred.
All right. Well, we'll get an answer on that. I wasn't aware of that. Okay. Anything else we need to cover today for this
The
morning?
last question is related to,
We'll get to it.
okay.
Well, if we're gonna talk about it, let's get it out, let's get it, I mean, this is kind of an agenda. I mean, if
This
there's
is the last
something,
question. Those would all reply
that's
to you.
fine, that's
The
fine.
last one applies to IRG.
Can you explain that comment about those people?
What's the context of this?
She's talking to him, but he on his phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, see, this is what I'm talking about. You see how he does? That's ignorant right
I know
here.
what
Hey,
you're
come
talking
on, man. Get to the
Are you
meeting.
in the meeting or out the
Pay
meeting?
attention to the meeting. You went to the table, pay attention, man.
Are you in the meeting or out the meeting?
I've been meeting.
You ain't doing
Can
this,
you
right?
You don't have to
explain
be
the
hostile.
I'm not.
Yeah, so we just being honest.
We're in the meeting, that's only respectful.
Come on, man.
Okay, all right. We're on.
Phones
I've been
off?
trying to get a project.
So this is what took place, so we can understand. We recall those people, and we know what those people mean. And then so why, we wanna know why was that said? And then this is the issue about it. We know it was said because look at the last page. Look at the last page, look what it says, look who it's from.
I want you to look at the top of the last page.
Yeah.
Don't look at the last page, look at
Yeah,
the
see,
top.
look who it's from.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, their name on it.
And what is this report? What is this document?
Yeah.
Or what is it?
I'm sorry.
Those people, because I wrote a letter and asked him to explain what is those people. And then Welty sent that back to me saying,
Oh,
those
so this
people.
was a document sent back to you, and then, okay.
Yeah, I just took out, because it was more
Yeah,
than
yeah,
that. So
yeah,
it was
okay.
we put a list of things about, most of it was about getting paid again.
And then this is just on the
That's
front.
some of the stuff, and I think, I just Googled that last night at the last minute, so, because I wanted to see that it's out there.
Okay,
It's
got it,
way
got
out
it,
there.
got it, got it. Okay, I'm just trying to,
And I'm not trying to go beyond this room, but maybe it needs to be, because I don't know why. I don't even know why it would even be said.
Why would we consider that? Like, I don't get it.
well, in this statement saying that, well, I guess it's a statement saying that the comment was not made and it does not
By
reflect.
Welty,
By-
but it was made. That's what it said.
And-
It wasn't made by Welty, but
was
Welty
this the-
signed off saying it was said.
Who said it?
So, I don't know.
Does this say what the actual, this doesn't recognize what the actual.
The
comment-
quote was those people. That's the exact quote. They're right there.
Yeah, right on this page, it says right here.
Oh, okay, got it, okay. And who all was at that, were you at that meeting?
No.
Okay, got it. I don't know.
Somebody that
Look,
was-
I don't have an answer on this. I don't know if we're.
Right.
You wouldn't.
Yeah,
But we want, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
We
all
want
right,
to know,
so-
we want to know the issue, so maybe we just at that
I mean,
point where we're tired too.
yeah, so your concern is there's an underpinning to a lot of this.
Yeah,
It's sort
that's,
of-
wouldn't you think? Did that said to you?
Okay. Well, I think for today, let's focus on what we can resolve today collectively. And where we don't have answers, we're gonna have someone take ownership of resolving it. Okay? I think that's fair.
That's
Whether
fair.
it's calling Frank after this, Chris Burns, or whoever to resolve it. Okay?
I already reached out on the payment stuff, I sent them
Okay.
text, so I don't know if they'll respond or not.
Let's go through the list. Let's start to tackle it. I mean, let's make this an operational, tactical meeting to get answers and get these resolved.
Okay.
And then I would like at the end too, how, going forward, we can't have you guys in the dark and have it just build up to a meeting like this. We need better communication, more frequent communication. So you can be heard, you can talk, we can give answers. Sometimes it's on us, sometimes it's on RAG, it's on Welty. I mean, we need to communicate better too, probably. But we need to talk about our process going forward so this doesn't bubble up like the way it is right now.
Well, like I said, it seems like there's no process going forward because there.
Well, let's talk about that, because we need, this isn't working for any of us.
Right.
So and it shouldn't be that complex, and the communication should be that fragmented and broken, so we need to try and fix that. So we can cover that at the end, but let's try and resolve what we can today. Okay.
Okay, so as far as the full light pole construction, that was a TN not to exceed 7K, and it came at 86. So Frank said that you
Agreed.
okay, so.
That's
Did Kyle send you that yesterday? He sent you one yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got this one.
Yeah.
So the only reason that came to 8,600 was because I was showing you guys what it actually cost. We were honoring our words when we said it would not exceed $7,000. I just wanted you to see that
I
we were
understand,
trying to
but,
work with.
no, I understand, but the way it came across to us was, it was 86.
Yeah,
No one said, yeah, we
No, Todd and I
understand.
agreed at 7,000.
That's fine, okay, well, then that's,
And that's why when Frank called me and asked me, I said, no, it's at $7,000.
That's-
why I just went that quick.
that's fine.
So
And you got
this
it.
is
That's done.
this is approved
Yeah,
at
that's done.
7,000.
Right, okay, so that's done. The remote, you and I had that conversation about the fact that there was other people that had the remote and theirs was considerably less than yours. And then you said, well, get the equipment together. I got Matt's comment in his dailies. So that, I'm coming up with a number what we think is fair. And that's what Frank said. I've got to go through Matt's dailies, those ones that I'm printing.
So this is what you gotta remember about our remobilization. It came all the way from Mansfield, right around.
Correct.
That's fine, okay. Like I say, Matt's reports so far aren't showing the equipment that was on that list. Can you resend that list to me electronically though? Just so I got it, so I'm making sure I'm comparing apples to apples. Backfill the cul-de-sac at the SERB, at the cul-de-sac curb. Yeah, I'm going, what, yeah, I don't know what a sub-garage is, but is that supposed to say subgrade?
Subgrade.
Yeah, okay, all right. So,
He doesn't have a list.
there was, you owed us grading at that cul-de-sac.
No, we didn't. That was an extra.
I was just putting the curve in.
Was it?
Okay, but you owed us original grading at the cul-de-sac. Whether there was a curve or whether there was
Was that a
asphalt.
change order? The cul-de-sac back in that corner?
The
The
curve
curb was.
was a change.
So
Right.
why would I owe you something for,
Because you would.
No, wait a minute, I see where we both are
Yeah.
at right now. He's saying that you were gonna grade alongside.
You had to
the
grade it
asphalt.
anyway, whether it was asphalt or concrete.
That's correct. We did have some extra time and additional material putting in there from excavating out for the curb. We all know that as well.
But we got a price for that curb.
We got a price for the curb, but I never took into consideration, and I'll take the blame for that, I never took into consideration the extra depth of the excavating to get the 18-inch curb down in there.
So you had no excavation for the curb itself?
Yeah, we did. We had excavation for the curb, but we still had all the backfill that we had to do for that. Then we regraded it again once it washed away from the rain. I've graded those biofilters 3 times.
Well, we're talking about the cul-de-sac here.
Yeah, I'm saying, I've
Yeah,
graded that
I'm-
back side of the site with the biofilters around the tennis courts 3 times just so that we could get the machine out of there.
Okay. That had never been explained that way before, but okay. So are you saying this $3,000 is additional backfill?
That was the time that we had to come in and excavate, or there was more than just backfilling of the curb. It probably should have been worded differently.
Yeah, see, that's, okay. Well, get your cost, we'll get it in front of Todd.
I'm not
Yeah,
going to
break it
give you a
down.
detailed breakdown, but I'll give you a detailed scope of work at least or what I
Okay,
did.
but break it down, that was the issue, like I sent to you yesterday, you sent me a change order, just, I said, I gotta have it broken down, everybody breaks it down, so. Okay, this 2625.
Wait, I'm sorry. Can I make sure I understand what's going on with the 3,000?
Sure.
So you need to get detailed information from who, Jesse?
I'll get
Yeah, I just need to break down that.
Hold it here.
So,
Yeah.
but let me just ask a question. So when you see a change order as being open and aging and not being paid, but if we don't have the documentation, then how, I want to understand how something gets on this list before the documentation is provided, because we need to make sure we have that, right, before any funds are
I agree.
approved and distributed and reviewed.
That's a can of worms I think we should just
leave it alone for right
As far as the documentation and providing it?
Sometimes some things has to be documented, sometimes some things aren't.
Okay.
So in this essence, it was just some equipment time, some labor time, and a little bit of material, the material we needed to lose, you know?
And just so you know, I'm
So
asking,
it
so I'm
worked
trying
out
to
for
find, I'm
both
trying
of
to
us on
find,
site, it worked out for us on site, it worked out for the it worked out for you guys.
again, guys, I'm just asking this, I'm trying to find holes or gaps in the process that we need to try and fix
Right.
going forward. I'm not trying to say,
Anything.
tell you what the process is, I'm just saying, if it's not working today, let's fix it as we move forward. So that's my question.
Okay, the next one we have is this organic material. So, and Todd and I have talked about this. I gave him those tickets that you gave me the other day, and they
Well, I gave them to you a couple months ago.
well, no, you didn't give it to me a couple months ago. You handed them to me about a month ago.
Kyle, okay, go ahead.
Either way, we've got them. I gave them to IRG. IRG has not accepted those invoices. All right? So I don't know if I need to have further conversation with Todd on that or whatever, but
But you did accept it because you did pay me part of it. And then they were saying, we're not paying you the rest of it until you have your tickets. I got an
the
email.
way that I understand it is there was an original change order for removing that topsoil. All right? So when, and I wasn't here when that was there, so that we're all on the same page. The way that I understand it, there was an agreed to amount for the topsoil. I think it was $130,000. But they didn't agree to the trucking because at that time, let me go through the whole thing. There was no backup for the trucking. Okay, so this is the backup that you gave me, right? And that's the one that I've got in front of IRG. Okay, so that's where I am in that process. All right? So there's that.
For the organic material coming off site, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the way that I understood, Peter explained it to me, is that there was a number put in front of us. And we paid $130,000 because there was a question or whatever about the trucking.
Okay.
All right, and Neil gave me the things for the invoices or the tickets for the trucking. I gave it to IRG, and that's where we are with that. All right, because you got the change order for the topsoil. That's the way I understand it. Okay. Now this $687.50.
Wait, sorry, okay, but
Sure.
is there a partial payment against this, or
Yes,
is this the
already-
remaining, is this the remaining due?
That's the remaining due.
Okay, so there was something, and
Yeah,
then,
there was a change order issued for the 130. You got
so
it.
what is our follow-up on this one, guys?
I guess Todd we got to figure out what's acceptable and what's not.
So you have all the information you need to assess it or ask any questions back on information. So you don't need anything from these guys?
I don't agree with the information, but that's between Dave and I.
Well, is there additional information that Neil and his team can provide to help?
Well, I've waited 6 months for this information. It doesn't appear to be accurate information from the time.
Okay, well,
That's Dave and I were.
we'll get specific questions back to you, right? If there are specific,
Yeah,
start
yeah,
let's
I've
be
already
very
been back to
specific. If there,
Why can't we get it right now? What information do you need? I mean, what do you disagree with?
Dave, you have those notes?
I hope I do. I grabbed what I thought was everything. You don't have a copy of this, do you, Neil?
No.
Okay. I may or may not have this. It's not looking like it. Kyle's probably got them.
so what we
That's where we are.
So what we need to do though is if we get information from Neil's team and it's not, we have questions on it, if it doesn't look right, if we need additional details, information, we have to go back and ask them.
Right.
Right, we can't just, pocket veto and put it and just say, well, we don't agree and we're not gonna let them know, right?
Well, Tom, you said you disagree. What do you disagree
I'm
with?
trying to think about what that was. The amount and quantity per hour for broker trucks seem double what the current going rate is. It was $150 an hour. I think broker trucks are anywhere from 75 to 85 in this area, depending on the type of truck.
Did they give you the invoices for it?
And that was it. The invoices didn't look like accurate invoices with slips from the truck drivers. Received the slips from each truck driver with their hourly on the project.
I mean, you got the invoices.
I got an invoice that looked like it was made up, showing up true. And say 6
And
months.
then,
from-
So we-
but then that same invoice is from the same company for all the other trucking that we've been doing down here all that time. It's for the same identical trucking company, same people, same.
Well, I haven't
everything.
seen all your invoices, because part of Welty's, I haven't seen any, if there's other ones from that, I haven't seen them. This is the first I've seen trucking invoices directly to us.
Yeah, so if it's
As regards to
consistent,
that item. Yeah.
well, yeah, so anyway, we
Yeah, if
we
it
need to
matches
get
stuff that's already
specific.
approved and paid, that would really help me approve
Yeah.
those.
So
That's not
it sounds like
typically what I would
these
say.
guys need to talk, there are specific questions back to, we will be very specific with what the questions are, whether it's rate, or it's volume, or if it's the level of documentation, right? Okay.
Okay. The next one is 687.50. That was before my time. I don't know if we owe you that, or I asked Kyle to give me an answer. I don't know about that one. All right, so I will follow the Kyle.
And sorry, who's Kyle?
Kyle's
There's
the
gonna be
P.
another one of those too.
One, what's it for?
It's for cutting the asphalt like we were told to do along the tennis courts.
That's what it's in there.
That's that long,
Yeah.
is that what that
We're
is?
gonna put the no-mo, that's what that 687.
No, that's the one I sent him the other
This
day.
is the one,
That's the one I sent you.
the one with that,
Mhm.
sway,
That's what I
okay, that was when I asked for more breakdown.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, okay, so
Huh?
No, it's the one I just sent him.
that's at the east end of the tennis courts.
Right.
Right, this, you're telling me, is that the
The north.
north end,
Yeah, and that's why I said there's gonna be another one.
for the east end that Neil just sent me the other day.
No, there's gonna be one for the
Listen,
west
Jesse,
end where
hold on,
that
Jesse,
concrete goes.
Hold on, Jesse. It's for the whole north and east end. That's what it's for. That's what you sent me the other day.
No, that was just for the north end.
You didn't.
It was 260 lineal feet of concrete. That is what the tennis courts basically are running down the.
Okay, so I mean, you just had the
2 foot
numbers.
wide, but we were instructed by Welty, by Dodo, to cut out the asphalt so that they could put the dirt with the no-mow grass in there.
Right, right.
I never considered the east end, because on the drawings it shows grassy area in there, and it wasn't our scope of work to cut it out.
So,
That
what's
is just
this,
for the north end.
so what's this 687 for?
That's for my salt cutting for cutting the asphalt.
So it's not included in that $5,000 number?
That wasn't, this is, no, what $5,000?
That's what Neil sent me the other day.
Okay, first of all, that is just for us to pour the concrete for the,
Okay, let's make sure we're okay. Here's the north side, here's the east side.
Yep.
So this 687, what is that for?
that
North
was
side or
cutting
the
the
east side?
asphalt in November.
Okay, so that's that right there, 687.50. So the $5,000 that he sent me yesterday or the day before, what's that for?
That's for that concrete that you want us to put in there.
That concrete's shown on the plans.
Oh, it's not.
Yes, it is. I showed you the detail.
Listen, okay.
I
The
showed it
concrete's
to you
showing,
months
the
ago.
concrete's showing on the drawings, coming up to the asphalt. Your company, your Dodo had us cut out, remove more asphalt and make it wider. If you look at the concrete I poured versus the concrete's on the drawing, the specs are still the same. The dimensions are the same of what I poured.
We'll go look at that detail.
can't.
Because- Yeah, because
We can drive in my car.
yeah.
Because this is
So we
what
can
he's
drive in my car.
No, this is what he's saying. But where we poured up to.
Oh, I understand what he's saying.
Where we're
I
You
understand.
had to cut the asphalt out where we poured up to.
And that's, I understand what he's saying now, but when you sent me that the other day, that was not in there. It was
Wasn't
just,
detailed enough?
no, it just said $5,000.
Okay.
So I'm like, what
Put it
the
up,
hell is that
we'll
even
address
about?
that too.
Okay, so I need more detail on that one, so need detail. Jesse. All right, and then now, as far as this temporary sidewalk and that type of stuff, I mean, we've had this discussion, I don't know how many times, but the way that it was understood is that that parking lot was going to be ready for enshrinement, and that included, the way that we understood it during the poll plan that we did, we included that plaza. That was part of the whole deal. All right? It didn't happen that way.
Okay, so let's stop there. Because it probably didn't happen because she was supposed to come to Quality Care Construction and get an agreement with Quality Care Construction like you did do with everything else in your favor. And you did not once. You email me, you send me documentation, everything about everything else, but that particular one, that you find a way to put us in the middle of. There was not one documentation to sign anything, to do anything on what schedule, for any reason. You decided yourself to say, well, Neil's not here, I'm gonna just go to Jesse. But any other time, you touch the emails like this on your fingertip right now.
So this poll plan that was held,
Where was I at to say
you
yes?
were in New Orleans or somewhere.
Where was I at to sign the paperwork? Where was I at to be
Let me
asked
explain
would
the
it be
pro-
done? Where was I at to finance it? Where was I at?
Okay, can I talk now?
No, because that's what I'm saying. That's what you've been saying. The same thing to me consistently.
Let me explain the way that the process went. All right, because Jesse was
But
there.
no, they are not going to explain the process. Because the process is quality care construction. Go through them. You don't go to no one else. You don't go to myself. I don't go to yourselves. So do not go through no one else. You should never do that in the first place. Why would you ever do it? You didn't have it before or after. So stop saying that.
Or Neil, how many things have been done on this job where not necessarily Dave Pyatt personally, but people have talked to Neil, or excuse me,
No.
Jesse, or just ask. I'm just asking a question. How many times have things been done that didn't necessarily talk to you or talk to me? That other parties are talking to him. I'm just asking the question.
Because it was something that needed to be tweaked, not a whole thing that was surrounded by the Shrineies. Because you knew if you came and asked me that at that time, you knew what my answer was going to be. You know what I was going to tell you? I was going to tell you we shouldn't have been down there until my check cleared on June 24th. We should have even been down there a month and a half before then because we hadn't gotten paid. So I would have told you there is a great possibility that is not foreseen in our future of getting that completely. We'll work diligently to get as much as we can done, but because of the financial situation that we're continuously from day one we've never been out of a financial ruins. We never once. You tell me once. I've asked you time and time again, tell me a date when you're going to give me my check. Tell me the date right now that you told me a check last week. What day am I getting that check? What date?
I didn't.
Come on, say it. Come on,
We
say
just
it.
covered that. I don't know.
There you go.
All right?
Do you know when you're getting your paycheck, Dave? Do you know when you're getting your paycheck to feed your family? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now can we go through the whole process and the way that it works? You know that we get paid within 45 days of receipt of improved invoice, correct? I mean, we've told that to you.
So, December, I got paid in April for December. That's 4 months.
And when did we receive the money?
Well, that's 4 months.
When did we receive the money from
back
our
down. You understand? Don't say that to me because I'm gonna bring you dates. I'm gonna bring you dates.
Fuck, Neil.
Bring you dates.
Neil.
So when you go months and 4 months and 4 months.
I'm not following. So on this particular item, what are we doing on the 3320 on this?
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you, there is an article in the contract that allows you to contest or dispute a few things. I'm talking to their attorney right now. You need to go into that article, figure out what it is. I mean, there's a way to take care of this issue. All right? I suggest that we just take it to that point. All right?
You're talking about just number 6.
6 and 7, because they're related.
So you're
Okay, so I think it's towards, I don't remember off the top of my head where it is,
But
but it's
what
one of
is
the last ones.
But what is the general issue or theme of the contract that we're saying to go look at, review, and discuss?
The general issue is that if an item comes up that's under a protest, all right, there's a way that.
So some kind of arbitration or some kind of process?
The contractor can take, and according to the contract, you have to, we direct you to do the work, which we directed, and then they can take and file a motion or a claim or whatever, file a claim against it saying, we're proceeding, but it's under, duress or whatever. So there's a process to do that.
But what is it about these two items?
Those two items, our particular position is that the only reason we had to do those was because that the plaza was not poured in time, to which Neil is saying that he would have never agreed to that anyway. All right, so there's a process here to do that.
Because, I say that because we had,
Dave, has the work been done?
This temporary one, yeah, it has.
On the 6 and 7, that work's been done?
On the 6 and 7,
said-
oh, yeah, that was done, yeah. So it's, you know, I mean,
So what you're saying is the plaza was not done, and therefore these things had to
it
be.
had to be done.
And whose responsibility was it for plaza?
That was Neil's.
And was there anything preventing you from getting it done?
yes, this is what it always leads back to again, but it came, the financing.
Got it, okay.
But I'm just saying, yes, it's the main part, 'cause I'm the one financing it, so it's the main ingredients
Okay.
to this.
Okay.
Where I told them we went down there, I don't even know the months of May, down there working, we were told don't even work, but guess what we decided to do as good faith? So we go down there and work anyway. Don't know if we really gonna get paid or not, which I see now we're not, but go down there and work. We worked for I don't know how many weeks doing whatever we do. I know we did, or we'll just say like this, even though it was part of our scope of work that no other contractor was down there working with us, but I know it averaged up to a couple $100,000 worth of work.
Got it, okay. Understood.
And then we did, so we just told them, how do you want us to keep going? And I told them, I said, this is the deal I'll make you. I said, when my check clears that y'all wrote me through the bank, which was June 24th, then we can discuss the issues of what else needs to be done. And guess who they didn't discuss it with?
So how do we resolve this? Are we resolving this by saying we'll review some contract language on
Yeah, that's
how
how
to
we're
resolve
resolving it, yeah.
the issue?
And then my resolve is this, I don't want them every time, so now, every time around, they're sending me these outlandish 72-hour notice, we got you behind, we got you behind, we got you behind. I don't see when you send me the 25 days, we got you ahead, we got you ahead, we got you
What
ahead.
are these notices? These are just
Threats.
timeline. These are timeline notices of
Yeah.
construction
So
timeline.
now we're not doing what I didn't even promise them in the first place.
Well, you said it's a threat. Is it just isn't? Is
Well,
it
I'm
just
saying
normal, is it normal course of? And sorry, it's probably a really dumb
No, it's-
question, but is that a normal course of sort
Yeah,
of
it
keeping?
is, but I can't tell them, how are you sending me this? How are you sending me any of this right now?
And you're saying you should be recognized for being ahead of schedule too, not just being behind.
Yeah, well,
He should be, he's ahead.
because when they got the finances, we was already down there working for, I'm not saying exactly, I don't know exactly, a month.
Right.
So this is what they took, they took the work that we did for a whole month and said, okay, we're starting here now. And then we gotta get this done now. If we would have been down there, they would have started way back here.
Okay.
Neil, how much does Welty owe you right now?
Almost 200,000.
And I want to make sure that we're clear that it's not that Welty owes him, we get paid from IRG.
But you've been paid up to June.
And
Maybe
we've paid him up to June. He's been paid up to June.
So the 200.
But
So the
I guess the
200,000.
question is the July payment. And that's the one that I shot a note to Chris and said, where is it? So I'm waiting to hear on that.
Do you have the details of the 200? Because if I could see that, that'd be.
They have it.
Okay,
It's,
all right.
100 of it, this is what I'll be honest, 100 of it, 100 plus is retainage. That
Oh,
they
got it.
retain.
Right. So we do the 5%. Is that at 10% or 5%?
As we're trying to get, well, it's really 50%, but it's 5% of the 10% whole.
Trying to get half of it.
So the
Half
100,000.
the retainage.
So 100,000 is at 100% or 50%?
100,000 is the retainage, you're trying to get half of it.
That's it, yeah.
10% of the original.
And our the way our contract reads is we owe 10% to the end, all right? That's our contract with any
And
contract.
did we agree at any point in time to pay 50% of that? At any?
Yep. Well, there was a conversation that they had with Neil, or with Burns, where he was gonna go back and do something, and I shot him a note
I
too,
think,
said,
yeah, we gotta-
where are you with that?
Yeah, we
talked about that.
Well, we'll look at that. I think we should look at that. And
See, this is why I said that. He said, what'd you say, you never heard of that, right?
I know his aspects are
Okay, but
lower
listen, but guess what they did? They had me put it on the payout. And they not even just.
meet at the 50% of the.
Yeah, they had me put it on the payout. Wait a minute,
Is that the last one you just said?
this one I just turned in.
And what's the other
They don't
one?
know nothing about it.
And just roughly, you don't have to give me exact numbers, but the other 100,000 or the 200, Is there like a recent payout? that is
40
not-
of it.
Well, 40
some
of
of
it,
it is
this
change
is
order.
46,000 right here.
Right, it's more than that, but then it's a payment
Wait,
that
what's
was
more?
due.
No, these change orders are 46,000.
Okay, well, I'm saying, okay, so with those change orders, then also the payment that they said they were gonna, I was supposed to receive was 24,000-ish.
And that was for what,
That's
July
July
payout?
Okay,
Okay.
there's some work yet to be done. It's some,
So some of it's current scope of work that,
Yep.
got it. So we'll,
then that
that
scope
could be
of
about
work.
50,000?
That scope of work is about $15,000 worth of concrete
to come, got
to,
it, okay.
to complete it.
I guess about
Plus
200,
labor.
I guess, I mean, unless, is there anything else, just because I don't want to miss it either, but I guess it's close to 200,000.
Yeah, give or
Okay,
take
all
some.
right.
Dave, the 6 and 7 that you said shouldn't have had to be done,
Right,
but they did,
right.
how much is that?
That's
What do you mean,
8,000,
how much?
that's 8,000.
That's 8,000
Yeah,
bucks?
8,000 bucks.
All right, so it's,
It's
No.
not a whole lot, no, but, you know, like I say, it's our, we have one position, Neil has another position.
but we're arguing over 8,000 with 200,000, so.
Well, 8,000 is a lot to me.
Me too.
I don't,
It's
I'm just
just,
saying, in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
it's not issue number one. Issue number one is when are they gonna get paid?
yeah, we're looking at that.
and then, last thing we would need to see is, why should I have to finance this job? I don't understand that. I'm
Well,
buying off my line of credit that's up to the max.
Let me,
Don't know when I can pay it
can I
back.
ask another dumb question? Retainage.
Yeah.
What retainage is due when the project is done? Is
When the
there,
project is done.
so
Right.
to his point, his expectation, some of that is owed and due now. Is that not right? Are we not all thinking
Well,
about
that's
it the
what's what
same?
Burns was gonna go back and.
Well, I know we're talking about the 50%. We're talking about
Right,
50%, but it seems like there's a disconnect on retainage, and I come across that a lot with other contractors and subs.
That's all.
Are we not thinking about it collectively the same way?
No.
Is it due at the
No,
end?
I think we all.
Because you're saying you're financing
Right, because,
100,000.
because I signed the contract. When I initially signed the contract, this work was supposed to be done in December. You see what I'm saying? It's good.
Well, I know, but it was done late. Got it.
But it wasn't because of my fault.
But
It was
no,
because of the
but-
financing.
Yeah, but you weren't you were probably out of some money in December.
Right.
But the work was done through what, February, March, April, May.
No, through December.
Well, how much of this 200,000 is owed through December?
Well, I have to go.
I guess I
don't know. We can go back
I'm
and
gonna say
I can find out. I'll put that on my list.
90,
But
80.
but
How much are
but
you
if
billed through that?
deadline, but let me understand though. If deadlines get extended, does retainage also get extended?
They shouldn't, I don't know.
The way that it reads.
But it seems like if a project gets pushed out, you get paid retainage when the project is complete. And dates are always going to move. Some move up, some move back, right?
But
Doesn't
yeah,
retainage move
But
with
yeah,
that?
yeah, because I understand.
I just don't. I'm just trying to understand.
Me too, I'm trying to understand it too, but this is what I look at it as. I can understand it getting moved back, moved up because of changing,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was all because of financial issues. And that should have nothing to do
But
with
the
me.
reason why the date moves is always going to be different. But my question is, does retainage move with that date, whether it moves up or back? I'm asking you, I'm trying to understand how retainage is
In
viewed.
my personal experience in the last 21 years of being in business, retainage usually follows the timeline of the job.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, if a job is rolling for 6 months and in 3 months we're 50% done, we usually drop our retainage down, we negotiate our retainage down to 5% instead of 10%.
Got it.
Then after
So you
that,
should pay out 5% because you're 50% done if things get elongated or pushed out.
and then at the 6 months when the job is done, you know, I'm billing for the rest of our
Yeah,
retainage. But
that's
I've also been, my retainage has also been held for over a year.
Yeah.
Okay, it's common in our
So
industry.
you make kind of progress payments on retainage when your dates start to slip and move out, is what you're saying,
Well, what I'm
right?
saying is-
50% or
no.
some,
No, they're holding the first 100% or 10% of my retainage.
Right.
For the first 50% of the job. Okay, once I get past 50% of the job,
Then you
it
pay-
gets knocked down to 5%, but they're still holding my initial 10% for the first 50.
Oh, it is,
You
okay.
understand what I'm
Okay,
saying?
yeah.
It's basically your security of knowing that everything's gonna get done, is the way that I've always accepted it. And everything's gonna get done on time, get done right. There's money, and basically that's the escrow money that is sitting there for the hiccups at the end, and in case there's something that needs to be fixed on our part.
Got it.
That's how our industry worked when it was an honest and good industry. Now, I think, in my opinion, and excuse me, but I'm not comfortable talking with somebody recording my shit.
Okay, we don't, I was just asking questions, because I'm a
The
financial
bottom
guy.
line is this, and I said it 3 months ago in a meeting, when it was Welty and IRG that I felt was having a problem communicating. We have to figure out how to come together and get this project done. That's the most important thing, okay? You have to do it to where this man in quality care is not feeling it financially, okay?
Great.
It's all of our responsibilities to get it done. We all play an important role. We're all good people here. We're not bad people. None of us are. But if we don't quit picking shit out of pepper, we're going to be having these meetings every 2 weeks getting nothing resolved. And personally, we've already wasted enough of each other's time this morning.
Yeah.
So we need to figure out how we can come to a resolution where he gets the money that he's owed and he's comfortable with the money that he's going to have to wait for. Because no disrespect to IRG, no disrespect to Welty, these companies, by working with them, we understand that, some of us understand that they're going to hold retainage for a while. That's our industry, that's what happens. Through him having to finance and absorb a lot of the impact of the financial responsibility of the project because of the scheduling and because of your guys' financial obligations in the beginning, now he can't sustain a hit like that again,
Okay.
carrying on. So we got to come to some negotiations where we can get him caught up to date, maybe work something out with the retainage, maybe make some exceptions now instead of following the old traditional way, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to explain.
Okay. No,
That's what I believe you're here to talk about.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
So,
We'll go, yeah, I mean, I think going forward, we can't have these meetings every 2 months. There needs to be constant communication between these sessions. So,
I mean, like I said, my whole goal is quality care. We're here to finish the job. We wouldn't have been down there working months when no one else was down there
Yeah, we were
working.
there in February
We
working.
showed some kind of diligence when we even did that. We're thankful to be part of this. We're thankful. Because guess what? We get to pass on generations.
Yeah.
Now, maybe some people don't want to hear that, but we get to pass it on.
And we
Okay.
were, I just wanted to say something, he was part of the Fab Five that we did with our association. We all had to go through and make our company streamline and go through our training to get certified to work on this project. And his company was one of them.
yeah.
It was 4 of the companies, but he was the one that was fortunate enough to get in the project. And that was why we were trying to, make sure that he's.
Okay.
So, and then on the retainage, let me say a little bit about this on these projects, because we work on a lot of different projects. It's really up to the general contractor as far as retainage to be in good faith to give some of the retainage back to the contractor. We've seen that a lot. So Welty could say, okay, Neil, I will give you 5% or something back or 2% back to help you out. Because then it brings it up a little bit.
Yeah,
It kind of helps out
Yes.
the contractor, especially if he's a good contractor doing the work. And then we did have a bad winter. You gotta look at the rain and stuff. So that's a good faith thing on Welty's part to help him with that. Because these are smaller companies. You see what I mean? So that's what we're trying to work those things out. And I think moving forward, some of those issues are gonna be worked out so we can move forward with the project. So that's just something that I wanted to just say.
and Brian, also, I think we need to reiterate and also keep in mind too that the people in this room, all of us, we all have somebody to answer to. So it's not like, except maybe Neil, because it's not, and he has somebody to answer to.
Yeah,
He's got to answer.
She just gave me a look, But the thing is, we can't, and you need to keep this in mind, that we can't sit here and point fingers at people, because Tom can't write a check to Dave, and Dave can't cut Neil a check, and you know what I'm saying?
We know it's a big.
So we understand that there's a system that we have to go through. He's got to get something figured out And then he's got to get it to Todd. Todd's got to take it to his superiors and look, and and then you got to make a suggestion or make a recommendation or approve it. And that all takes time. And in the meantime, with that and everything else that can go wrong on a project, which a lot of times do, it gets frustrating.
Right.
And we're all just trying to figure out how to just, work through it together and speed up some of the process. It's interesting. Nothing got done for 4 months down there, but as soon as you guys provided some money, man, there was trucks down there everywhere.
Yeah, that's good.
You get what you pay for, And in saying that, I think that's, on Neil's part, I think that's one of the things that we should address right away, the financing. And as far as these change orders and everything go, especially the last 6 and 7 one, we got some stuff to hash out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go through the list. Let's just go through the list really quick of what. So we've got the $24,000 from the July payout. We're going to find out right away what's going on with that.
Right, exactly. I haven't got a response yet.
Okay. We're going to look into the retainage, the 50% retainage, right? The 5.
In December, you wrote you had $68,315.52 is what Kyle's telling me. Okay? Just so you know.
Wait, this is what?
This was as of December. Neil had $68,315.52.
Of work completed.
No, of retainage. That's what we had.
Okay.
How much? $68,315.52.
But it says
And now he's up to, now we are up to 95,000, the 100,000 you were talking
all
about.
right, so we need to find a way to get him some of that retainage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then this is what
I'll take that back with these guys. We'll get that going through.
What I'm just saying is just like, we want to go down there and finish, but wouldn't you be scared if they want me to dump another, let's say $100,000 in there?
Yeah,
and then don't even know a date when I'm going to get paid.
You need working
Can't even
capital.
get a date.
Yeah, you need working capital cash flow. Not only the 50% retainage, but there's at least on this change order some easy ones. There's a $7,000 amount that we've already agreed and approved upon.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of these things sound like they're close. Some more information to be provided. The big one is this trucking issue. We just have to figure that out, and let's not let this linger too long. If there are issues with it,
And then, like with me, with them, because we are president, vice president, and Todd didn't say, Neil, we'll work with you here. This is how crucial it is to me, because I'm that close. When I say I'm that close to not being in business no more, after 20 years, we're that close.
Right.
And I'm not just saying
So we're gonna move quickly on
You
it.
say, hey, what if we agree on this?
Okay.
I'll work with you. I don't have no problem working with you at all. But I just said I'm at a divide right now, and it's not good.
We need to help you get out of that. Okay. The last piece, I guess, is what do we need to do tomorrow, the next day, next week, to make sure we're not back in this room in 30 or 60 days?
Money. That's it. Because
I think it's two things. It's money and it's communication.
and product.
If there are questions on what you send in, we need to let you know. If there are payments, if I'm being slow, if we're being slow on payments, I need to know that. I'm not aware of any, but I need to know that. We need to know that. So we need communication all up and down. We can't. Both you guys are really good at reaching out to me. Continue to do that. If things are slow, I'll at least get with these guys and say, well, where is it in the process? If there are questions, we'll get back with you. Okay?
Right.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
But can you make the decisions, Because see, some things, when you do the process, the people that actually make the decisions to make it move forward, that's kind of where you need to be.
Well, I'm the CFO, but I have a requirement before I cut any check at all. Documentation has to be. These guys yell me.
That's why we provide documentation.
If they give me something, I say I don't know what this is. I'm not. It's my fiduciary responsibility to not pay just on a cocktail napkin, right? So these guys yell at me or get mad at me because I don't pay based on just stuff I don't understand. But there's something out there right now. So yes, I can make that decision.
Right.
You guys will help me make it buttoned up, approved, clear, clean, and let's get it going. Payouts are great. Once a payout comes to me, all the documentation is there, it's signed off. everyone's initialed it, and that usually flows almost immediately. So,
Brian, let me just say one thing too, addressing, because I've been involved with the project, but, you know, and I'm also the president of the Minority Business Association. But Dave came on the project, it's obvious from this conversation that he came on the project late. A lot of information he doesn't know because he can't even answer it right now.
and who was there before Dave?
It was Peter,
Peter was
and then before Peter, there was Matt.
Matt.
Oh,
Yeah,
Scott Brady was
Scott was
there.
there.
And this on the stadium part in particular, or overall?
No, just on the stadium. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like you said, communication is very important, but whenever there is financial questions and they're not getting resolved, and it's a month later, and then Dave is just saying right now, you know, I reached out to whoever with Welty, and they still haven't responded. A month later, it's too late. You know, communication, but we have, yeah.
Yes.
And since he came on late, and part of what they don't know, he got to get up to speed, and you got to make sure that those answers get answered before you send out those certified 72-hour letters, because you constantly send those out. You can't be sending those out. There's questions that need to be answered, and you're not answering the questions.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like we lost the continuity of
Yeah, we did.
just as people, okay, all right. No, that could be a hole and a gap in the process, I can see that.
And then one last thing, and like, I'll say we have some responsibility too, but like they're saying some of the stuff we need to do, go down there and finish up and stuff like that. And I was calling a bunch of, you guys Welty might have called something else. We still have no direction on what is going on. That's been a 3-week ago meeting, correct?
This one here?
On the stuff we talked about the last meeting, Dave.
Is this the one, the list we talked about?
Right, yeah, remember, he was gonna give us direction on which I wanna do with some of the saw cuts and different things down there. Nobody's told us nothing to do.
Oh, that's the one where Dodo's
Right.
got the different staining and stuff, we're working for the city. But I'm just saying,
But
that's where
we
it
don't
is.
want to see, but it looks like we're holding the project, but it's been almost a month, we haven't got an answer.
No, and I'll tell you right here, I mean, we're waiting on a direction from the city.
Right,
We're
well,
giving them samples.
See, but no one,
whatever, and
but
giving
see,
them
but they,
suggestions.
Well, no,
the public
because-
don't see that part of it. They just looking like, why are they
And
down
not to
there?
interrupt him, but I catch hell from him because I don't have anybody down there working, doing any remedial work, but we don't have any direction of what they want done.
Right, but
And so we're on other jobs, you know, between him and Karsten calling every day. I get texting from him in the morning and calls from him, wanting to know where we're at. And I said, listen, there's only so much we can do. And I'm trying to get caught up on our original schedule because we spent so much time on the job down here that we're on other jobs now.
How big is the scope of this additional work? down
which
there?
additional, it's not additional work, there was issues with the staining and
Oh, this is
stuff like
punch
that.
law, this are-
Yeah,
oh,
so
okay.
that's what we need, and we,
But
I think you've done
additional work that we're
We tried to
responsible
clean off
for,
an area, it
it's
did not
about
work.
$15-ish thousand worth
Oh,
of
that's the
concrete.
15 you said of.
Yeah, plus the labor and stuff, but it's about $15,000 worth of concrete that needs yet to be poured.
yeah, we've seen that list.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Yeah. But like I said, that's where we are, that apparently.
But there's some
we
stuff
cleaned
down
some,
there that, like, for
and then
example,
there's a stain that
they want us to
we're
belt out all
just
the
waiting-
saw
yeah,
cuts.
we're just waiting.
So that's why,
But
and so that's why we
The architects wouldn't let us retool the saw, we wouldn't let us tool our joints on that end, so they do look bad. The other side it looks a lot better.
But
But
this
then I got
project is more than 15,000, just your piece is 50, but there's.
right,
That's
there's
just some cleanup stuff, that's
So this checklist is all on us.
Yeah, we're willing.
No, it's everybody, yeah, it's not just
I just have to
There's
assign a
just-
dollar figure to it for the release entertainment.
And then like the issue we talked about last night, Brian, that I had with one to come back to, with the whole other arrangement on the other, across the street. That's, we'll talk about that when we're all just by ourselves.
Okay, well, I think, okay, I am gonna continue to ask for updates on
That's
all
fine.
7 of these.
Sure.
And let's continue to resolve these issues.
Oh, is it?
Because some of this, so, Neil, you're gonna get some information on one piece, Jesse on another one, Dave, you're gonna get with Kyle on one, we've got some issues
What I
on.
got was Kyle on the one, the retaining, $68,000.
No, sorry, Kyle, I thought it was the $687.
Oh, yeah, that, you're right.
So anyway, I will continue to manage this list with you guys. So let's not, when we walk out, we're not gonna just forget about it. Let's continue, whether it's via email, phone call, or even sit back down and go through this again. Let's continue to work through this list. And I've got some other monies owed to you that we'll look to get you, okay?
Do you want to see those?
Is there anything else to cover while,
What about our timeline, Brian, as far as having those questions answered? I mean, not to say we'll continue to work on this, because we've been continuing to work on it for a year.
okay, all right.
Let's put some definite timelines here.
All right, so on the July pay app, that's already funded and paid. It's a matter of when that's,
It is
No, wait.
funded in pay? I don't know. That's what I tried to find out.
okay. Well, let's get back, in a week, we'll get back to you on that. If we don't have the check left, we need some kind of answer, response on that. The 50% of the retainage, let's get an answer. I need to get some more information, but let's get an answer by next week.
Okay.
On the change orders, it'd be great if we could roll the 7,000 into, I don't know if it's easier to come through an existing pay app or how we want to do it, but there are pieces on here that are ready to go.
Well, that $7,000, you got that, right? You got that, right?
And then you paid for
It
it.
was approved, but he don't have
Yeah,
the money, he don't
yeah,
have the check.
Yeah, the change order's approved. We
Is
just
that
need the
gonna be
money
on-
from, we
is
just
that
need the
gonna-
money from you. That'll be on the next pay.
No, it's not even on this pay out for August.
No, the next one that we'll have due.
Yes.
It's just what we just did yesterday.
We're going to get you an answer in a week on that.
But I'm saying though, when was the work done?
Is that for the light pole?
Yeah.
Neil?
When did I get? well,
32 months ago.
Yeah. But
And this is the part I don't understand.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we have a call a week from today? And let's go through whatever is not resolved. If we can resolve stuff in advance, great. Let's go through these 7 items plus anything else a week from today. I'll get a phone call, we can meet in person. Let's just do that. Let's just do that.
sure.
Yeah,
Give us time to get some answers on some of these.
that would be good.
The question I
Brian,
have,
it's probably easiest if we just meet.
Yeah, then we can meet here again next
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
Okay.
and then the
Next
question,
Friday, well, somebody will be.
Well,
I won't be. I'm on vacation, so.
the question I
Can you do
have
Thursday?
with the change orders, why are they so hard to get signed when you're allocated to work
No,
to us?
well, I don't have the answer. I mean, every change order is probably a little bit different, so there's probably not one answer on that, but, I don't know, change orders go through the same diligence as any other piece of work, right? There should be nothing different about it.
No, I mean,
Right.
there is, but once again, the lack of information, like the one you sent the other day. This worked for $5,000. There was no real description. I mean,
It was 200 lineal feet.
well, that's fine. You can,
Forest thick.
but, I mean, there's a way to do that. We ask for labor backup, we ask for material backup, we ask for all that stuff. I
And
mean,
there's also a better way to do it on our end now that him and I have talked
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Those change
it's-
orders,
Yeah, it's
need
just,
somebody else to do it. We
Oh,
just
that's-
want to
that's
get our
fine.
original scope done. We agreed on that yesterday. It's more money out of his pocket, more money out of our pocket,
that's fine.
you know?
But yeah, I mean, the documentation trail should be the exact same, whether it's
Because
original work.
then that nips that in the butt, we're done. with
Sure,
that,
no,
you know
that's
what I
fine.
mean?
That's the way that's.
Because like I said, we've all
I'm good
known
with
each
that.
other before this, we shouldn't be arguing like this. We need to do-
So what you come up with,
Are
Brian?
you here on the 6th?
No,
So are you out all last week?
I'm out Wednesday, or Thursday and Friday next week. I'm here Monday and Tuesday. Or excuse me, Tuesday and Wednesday. And then after that, I'm gone for a week.
So, yeah,
I don't come back like the 20th.
Let's do it on Wednesday.
That's fine.
I mean,
That's fine.
I just don't want to have this meeting and have a bunch of unresolved questions you're not here. So
So-
Wednesday the 5th.
I got a question. Are we gonna get paid before we meet? Are we gonna get anything?
I haven't got any
I'll
answer on
take a
the
look.
thing. As soon as I can, I just told you about the retainage. If I know about that, I'll tell you.
What about the
Yeah,
check?
yeah,
that
time
we
out.
did last
I'm not
week?
saying
What
that
you did check last
everything's
Friday?
on hold until the 5th. Whatever we can resolve before, let's do it.
Tuesday or Wednesday.
That's what I asked about, and I haven't heard back, so it's just like the retainage thing.
I need information, I need to go and see where everything is in the process before I can answer that question. But I'm not gonna wait until the 5th before we start resolving. We're gonna start on this right now. Okay?
Does 11 o'clock work on the 5th?
That's fine with me.
According to you, I don't have a choice.
Yeah, we'll have a dialogue.
See, that's why I said.
11 o'clock, yeah.
That's why I've been avoiding you from.
Let's do 11. Here on the 5th.
Can't argue with both of y'all.
You send out an invite?
Not both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, everyone, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for
thanks, Shippy.
Putting this together for us, Brian.
What's that?
And I said, thank you for putting this together for us, because it looked like a lot of us are gonna come out of it now.
positive. That's a good thing.
Well, look, our communication collectively has to be better. We can't let it fester and bubble up to where we are today. So,
Ryan, you're gonna send an invite out?
I'm gonna send everybody out, yeah. And I don't know everybody's, I'll send it to a couple people I think can forward along, but here at 11 a.m. on next Wednesday.
Would it be possible for you to also, I mean, you were summarizing everything, the 7 items that need to be resolved?
Yeah, why don't I send this,
that
I'm
to
gonna
us?
send this list out. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
All right.
All right.
All right, okay, thanks a lot, appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.